Hello, New Bedford Public Schools community. I hope that everyone is doing well and safely enjoying the summer weather. I appreciate your attention for the next few minutes as I highlight some key points about our reopening plan for schools this fall. All student families should have received an update last week with several details, so please refer to that information as well and visit our New Bedford Schools website. Our return to school plan includes three formats. One, being ready to welcome all staff and students to our school buildings which also includes distance learning for some students. Two, an all distance learning format. This is an upgrade from the remote learning this past spring. And three would be a hybrid format, which is a combination of the two that would include a possible rotation for students. We're focused on our students who are the most vulnerable and who have specialized needs and with multiple learning styles as we go through this process. We continue to use guidance from health officials, the State Department of Education, infectious disease physicians, pediatricians, and other public health experts. This also includes feedback from parents, staff, students, and community members. Our objective does remain at starting the school year with as many of our students as possible safely in school buildings for classes. With the recent DESE approval to allow students to start school after teachers participate in a 10-day pre-service training, we will have a phased-in approach where students will start school 10 days later than the scheduled date, and all students in grades 1 through 12 will start on or by September 16th. The second phase would include direct instruction for students in person or through distance learning. For clarity, parents can choose whether they want their student to participate in the in-person or the distance learning format. You'll receive a survey on August 4th to get more of that information from you. Our reopening planning has been ongoing since May, and the preliminary plans include ways to address the three possible learning models. Our planning for a safe return to all classrooms includes many factors, and we will work to exceed the minimum safety measures where possible. The following measures have been implemented or are being finalized per ongoing guidance from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and also based on the CDC and state guidance. 3 feet to 6 feet physical distancing will always be maintained. Our target is to utilize the 6-foot distance as much as possible. We'll be upgrading desks if necessary, tables, to ensure maximum distance in all classrooms. There'll be staggered entrance and exit plans, hallway signage, stairwell control to make sure physical distance is balanced. School visitation will be very limited and pre-scheduled. There'll be specific protocols are being finalized at this time. Face coverings are required for all students in grades 2 through 12 and staff. Now we know special accommodations will be made for students and staff with conditions that might preclude the safe use of a mask. Also, students in pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade will be required to wear masks if they ride a school bus like all the other students. Students in pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade may be encouraged to wear masks in certain situations. We're working to have plexiglass dividers installed in all offices and other necessary locations such as cafeterias, student bathrooms, and other necessary common spaces. A training program for staff and students and parents on the new health and safety protocols, including procedures for contact tracing, is in the works as well. There will be consistent protocols for regular hand washing, hand sanitizing, and bathroom usage. The personal protective equipment for students and staff includes face masks, clear masks for teaching of language development and social development skills, face shields, and hand sanitizer, and other specialized items that will be available in each school's nurse's office. There'll be limited sharing of student materials among students. Students will have their own set of materials to use while in the classroom and their own storage container and space for those items. Some content areas will also be sending materials home for students to use. For technology, our Chromebooks and laptops will be available again for all students as we did this past spring. Our processes for serving meals in classrooms and open spaces and outdoors on campus is still being finalized. We have a lot of options that we can do. Our additional considerations and next steps are where we're also shared in many of the videos over the last several weeks and in writing. Our decision making continues to be grounded in reviewing local, regional, and national trends on this pandemic as it affects our planning. As we know, there are many areas that we're still working to resolve based on the best available research and guidance and practices at this time. These areas include, but are not limited to, the continuity of learning. Each school is developing details on how to best balance continuity of learning with the protocols that we will need to be in place in the event of a confirmed positive case in one of our schools. Parents will need to have a quarantine and isolation plan in place in the event of positive cases. School plans to accommodate teacher absences due to quarantine and isolation will be in place as well. Staff availability may be affected and unpredictable due to several factors, including staff health, staff virus exposure requiring quarantine or isolation, and childcare access. As earlier, developing staffing plans that maintain continuity of instruction while accounting for staff situational needs is a priority for us. So for our ventilation and air filtration, we're assessing and upgrading each of the building ventilation and filtration systems in the schools and taking steps to make any necessary modifications. We want to make sure that we're meeting all recommended health and safety protocols. Transportation to school will require all students to wear face coverings and adhere to physical distancing requirements while on the school buses. While we're having ongoing discussions regarding safety protocols, if our transportation partners are unable to add buses to our routes, we will work with our community to find alternative solutions such as walking or biking. We work with all of our bargaining units as we're in ongoing discussions on how to address the many changes that have to take place in our schools on a daily basis with staff. So I want to remind everyone that these are local decisions that rest with each school system in its town or city. For more family outreach, we continue to gather more information from families and staff about their opinions on the various models and schedules. So again, on Tuesday, August 4th, each school will send a survey to its parents to determine which learning format they plan to access in the fall. Schools will follow up directly with families for additional information. So our reopening overview, we're creating a detailed New Bedford Public Schools video that outlines the reopening process for all schools with expectations for in-person classes including transition to school, safety requirements and processes, and overall expectations for distance learning. Again, I appreciate the continued parent input from the emails and surveys. It has highlighted that overwhelmingly parents want students back in schools. However, with strict adherence to physical distancing, detailed staff and student training, which is all based on CDC health guidelines, mask enforcement with appropriate breaks, and ensuring that buildings and items are cleaned and disinfected regularly. We realize that there will be expectations or exceptions for necessary accommodations. We know that we have students who have underlying health conditions and are immunocompromised, and there are students who live with family members who have underlying health conditions, putting them at a higher risk category. We understand that families need to make decisions that are right for them. If your child is in one of those categories, we want you to reach out to your school to discuss what options are available for you. Based on our ongoing thorough review of the medical literature, we believe that when we follow the critical health requirements, we can safely provide instruction in the formats I outlined earlier. The current medical situation and the trajectory of the disease in Massachusetts still allows for an in-person on-site instruction in September. However, we understand that can change based on how the medical situation develops. Our current reality is unlike anything we've ever experienced before, and there is no perfect solution to this situation. So again, please check our website, newbedfordschools.org, check social media, and contact your school for any other information. You're always free to call our family support line at 508-997-4515 if you have any questions. Your understanding is appreciated as we partner during these challenging times. Thank you for your continued support of New Bedford Public Schools. Please stay safe and think of others.